Hello, friends. This is Matt Greer. I'm the artistic director of Quintessence, a community of singers, and I am hanging out today with two friends to talk about exciting things coming up, Jocelyn Hagen and Timothy Takach. And if you are not aware, we have some great events coming up in Albuquerque, October 18th and 20th, related to them coming to visit and us performing their music. Hi, Jocelyn. Hi, Tim.
Hi.
Nice to see you both this morning. So what I have been telling people as we've been promoting, next weekend is that we've been working on this for a couple of years and that we're really excited that it's finally happening. And Quintessence audiences are familiar with both of you, not only because we have performed a lot of your music, but because we were in the commissioning consortium for Jocelyn's Notebooks of Leonardo da Vinci, which we did at our summer festival in 2022. And Jocelyn was here and Tim was here, and people are still talking about what an amazing piece and experience that was. But also, you've just been kind of around when we were only doing stuff in virtual space. You all were helping us do videos. You were making music for us. You were two of the 5 contestants on our poetry slam over Valentine's Day about a year or so ago. And I can't remember who won that. Do you guys remember? Oh, it was Jocelyn.
It was that really sexy poem.
That's right. Jocelyn read a really sexy poem. And yeah, and that was hard competition. It was like you two and Tony Silvestri, Kevin Macbeth, and then people voted with their dollars because it was a fundraiser for Quintessence, and I think Jocelyn won pretty handily. So
usually the way it goes.
Yeah. I can imagine. So let's talk about the concert a little bit first. Quintessence has been rehearsing since late August on a program that we came up with that I think is a fairly good representation of some of the fantastic music that you both have written individually over the years, but also that you have written together. And we are loving just all of this music. And I wonder if we have a couple of pieces that we are performing that are collaborations. One is called Dragonfire. And I know that when we were consulting about the program, this was something you were both eager for us to do. Do you want to talk about that piece a little bit?
Yeah, that was a commission that we got from a school district down in Texas, and they were looking to do an all district concert where they pulled all the high schools together, and they wanted to do a commission to celebrate it. And this was just after the pandemic, so they wanted it to be exciting. They wanted to sort of celebrate the fact that they could all get together in the same room and make music. And so I think, Jocelyn, it was probably your idea to do 4-hand piano. Is that right? Am I remembering that right?
I think so, because that's a lot of fun to write for.
Yeah, but we had this amazing text, which I'd have to go back and reread to talk about it with any detail, but sort of a really empowering text and just a really powerful piano part. So that was the first smaller work I think that we collaborated on. We did This Is How You Love a long time ago, and then this was like the first sort of octavo length piece, but it was super fun to write.
Yeah, and I am super excited that I get to play in the concert and I get to play with Amy.
Right.
So that's going to be wonderful fun. I've started practicing and I have a little work to do before I arrive. But yeah, it's big and powerful. And the text is also very inspirational and motivating and empowering. Just like imagining yourself as a dragon. I feel my fire. So we thought that was really great for students to sing, but also for everybody to sing. To feel your own power and to feel strong. So yeah, that piece is a lot of fun, and it's only been performed a handful of times, I think. Yeah. So I think this is definitely the New Mexico premiere.
Yeah.
Awesome. And
when we write together, that can take a lot of different forms because you can collaborate musically a lot of different ways. And we tried a bunch of those out when we wrote This Is How You Love, which is the a cappella oratorio. This one, we tried yet a new way where we sort of divided it horizontally. And so Jocelyn basically wrote all the piano music and I wrote all the vocal music. And then we sort of edited each other's work in different ways as it would come together. And so it was interesting because she would write like 12 bars of piano and say, this is the vibe, this is where I'm headed. And some of that I would score vocally on top of, and some of it I would sort of leave her piano a bit behind and go forward vocally and say, well, this is where I think the text needs to go, and this is the direction of the texture and the melodies and harmonies. And so then she'd receive that and then score the piano writing underneath it, but then also sort of leapfrog me and move ahead. And so it was a really interesting way to do it. And we hadn't tried that before.
It's kind of a tag you're it situation.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's super interesting. And I think I don't know, sometimes I feel like collaborations, if you know that a piece is a collaboration from two people, it can feel a little bit cobbled together. And this does not feel that way. I mean, that's one of the things that's fascinating to me hearing about your process in doing that, is it seems the whole vibe and the way the text works and the shape of the piece is really, really organic. And we have been really loving working on it.
I'm glad to do that, because I think that it we have different styles certainly between the two of us, but our idea about what music can do and what it should do tends to align quite a bit and quite often. And so to have this poem and understand what we wanted to do with it artistically and how we wanted people to feel matched from the first minute. And I think that's what hopefully makes it feel like it sticks together.
Yeah. We're also doing a lovely a cappella piece that is the last movement of a multi-movement work that you collaborated on together called How We Love. And I believe this is the last movement, this a cappella movement called Love Light. And we have just been loving the text is so beautiful, the double chorus thing. And I'm curious to know, in that instance, it's set up so chorus 1 sings through, and then chorus 2 sings through, and then it fits together. Did you each write one of the choruses in that instance, or how did that? That's what I thought.
I'm trying to remember who wrote which one first, because there are two partner songs in that larger collaborative work, and so there's Love Light, and the other one was 3 a.m. Is that the name of it?
Yeah, I think so.
And I can't remember. So we switched it in terms of who wrote their song first. And I can't remember which it was for Love Light.
I think you wrote the the sun always says to the earth. Yeah. I think you wrote that one, and I think you wrote that first.
Yeah.
And I think I responded with the choir 2, or with the other piece. I can't remember which choir is which.
Yeah, it's such a unique challenge to write partner songs this way. Neither of us had done it at this level before. And to create something that can stand on its own and then also work beautifully with another song, it's a wonderful puzzle. Yeah,
I would imagine. And it's lovely on so many layers. The fact that works so beautifully together. One thing I've been saying to people as I've been talking about the concert and being so excited that you're both coming, is in describing your music for people who don't know your music, both of you, is that both of you are marvelous at finding amazing texts to set. And I can tell that is really, really important to both of you, and not only pre-existing public domain, but also seeking out, in some cases, poets to collaborate with. Has that been important to both of you as composers from the very beginning?
Yeah. I mean, you can see from the background, this is where I work.
For readers.
Yeah, and this section, this is all poetry. So we're constantly reading and seeking and finding the right words. And sometimes that process even takes longer than actually writing the music. Which
I think for me, it developed over time. And I think when I was starting out composing, it's easy to look at the poems everybody else has set. And you think, well, there has to be value here, right? Because everybody has set Whitman, and everybody's set Teasdale, everybody's set Dickinson. So why wouldn't I start there? It's free, it's available. It's in this book of the 1,000 best poems of the entire universe, right? So I should start there. And it took me a while to figure out that part of my brain and the part of my brain that actually enjoyed reading poetry for poetry's sake could occupy the same space in my music making. And so instead of saying, I'm going to set this poem because I think people would like it, it took me a couple years to figure out I should set actually this poem because I really like it. And these are the words that I want to give to people. And it's not a poem they've heard before. And it's not a poem they already sort of have a setting in mind of like, so-and-so set that really well, and now Tim's going to try it. But instead offering something new and fresh and say, well, this is a poem I don't think anybody really knows, so I'm going to give it to them through music.
Yeah, and I just wanted to show you. So this is the book of poetry. Oh, there we go. Michelle Stratford that we found. Dragonfire is actually 2 different poems that we put together. And you can see this is what happens. We start just tagging all the ones we love. And so I've set, I think, 3 or 4 of Michelle's poems at this point, because it's really great when you get a relationship with a poet and you know that they're going to say yes, to letting you set it to music, and that they like it. Not all poets like it, but Michelle does. So it's really great.
Nice. I want to talk about one of the other reasons that you're here is that, well, first of all, we're doing the better part of a week-long residency. And so Jocelyn and Tim are going to be doing some teaching at UNM. They're going to be visiting with class of composers. Jocelyn is actually going to be doing a lecture that Tim will have a part in on Thursday. And tell us the title of that and tell us where that came from, Jocelyn.
Yeah, it's called Neither the Smartest Nor the Most Talented, How Curiosity and Persistence Led to a Successful Career in the Arts. It's a bit lengthy.
You should set that. That scans.
Yeah, right. But it's a pretty vulnerable talk, but I think anyone who decides they want to become an artist and do this kind of job has to know, one, how hard it is. It's not an easy profession, but also how there's a lot of failure involved in it, especially when you're an artist and you're constantly trying new things. So there's a lot of failure in that. And so learning to walk hand in hand with it is a big part of coming to peace with it.
Did either of you, this is a whole nother line of conversation that will take more time than we have, but I'm trying to remember from just conversations with you together and individually, did you come out of you were both music majors at St. Olaf, right? Did you come out of that, the two of you intending to be composers? Were either of you going to be a performer? How did that evolve for either of you in like 10 seconds?
For me, I did intend to be a composer. I ended up in a performing career for the first 13 years of my adult life, and then transitioned into writing full time.
And Jocelyn?
Yeah, I always knew. I did. My parents encouraged me to get a vocal music ed degree as well. So, because they thought, oh, at least maybe she can be a teacher if this doesn't work out. But
right. It's a very parent-y thing to think.
Yeah, that experience did serve me well, having to take all those ed courses and all of that. So, but I never got licensed. I did the student teaching thing, and I knew that if I were to do that job, I'd want to do it really well and all the way. And if I did that, there'd be no time for writing. So yeah. I followed my heart.
Got it. So one of the other reasons that you're here is that the two of you, I don't know for how long, but I'm interested to know, have been performing together as a duo called Nation. And I'm actually going to let you singing together kind of introduce this part of the conversation, because back in 2021, when Quintessence was doing everything we could think of virtually, and we did a Valentine's Day cabaret weekend, you were kind enough to do a whole virtual concert for us. And so this will take you back. I'm sure you haven't seen this since, but this is the opening song from that concert, and just a couple of minutes long. So this will give a taste of what you two do as Nation. Enjoy.
You left a heart stain on me. You left a heart stain on me. You left a heart stain on me. You left a heart stain. You left a heart stain on me. 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 You left a heart stain. You left a heart stain on me. You left a heart stain on me. You left a heart stain on me. You left a heart stain. You left a heart stain on me. You left a heart stain on me. You left heart stain on me. You left a heart stain on me. You left a heart stain on me. You left a heart stain, a blood stain on the ground, heart stain on me. You left a heart stain on me. You left comes off easily. You left a heart stain, but blood comes off easily. You left a heart stain on me. You left a heart stain. You left a heart stain on me. You left a heart stain. You left a heart stain on me. Left my heart stained.
Microphones. So that was in 2021, and obviously that was a a whole virtual hour of wonderful music that you did for us. And we're excited not only that you'll have a set as Nation on the concert with Quintessence on the 20th, but also you're doing a whole concert as Nation on Friday night, the 18th of October. And we're so excited that that has worked. How did this happen that you all started doing this kind of stuff together?
Do you want me to start that, Tim? Okay. Well, it is a very interesting story because it was out of necessity at first, which, you know, necessity is the true teacher or what of invention, whatever the Leonardo da Vinci quote is from that.
You
piece.
should know.
I should know it. I feel
Yeah.
a little bad that I fumbled that. We were prepping for a concert for the Schubert Club, which is a wonderful music organization here in St. Paul. And it was about a week before the performance, and my violist canceled on me, which made for a 10-minute hole in my program. And all the money was also gone. So I was like, oh, okay, so what do we do now? And so Tim and I decided we had been talking always like, hey, wouldn't it be fun if we tried singing some a cappella pop covers? That'd be fun. And so this was the moment I was like, well, Tim, what are you doing this week? Should we make this happen this week for the Schubert Club concert? And I'm so grateful that you said yes, Tim. And yeah, we'll do that. So that was the very first performance by Nation, was thrown together in a week. But what was really cool is that our friend Penelope Free was in the audience, and she's a choreographer and dancer, and she loved it and said, I want to dance to that.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So actually our next big Nation performances were dance performances, which were really cool.
So that was in 2016, 15, I think.
Okay.
That we started doing that.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, my first experience of hearing you do that is kind of what we just heard, which was just two voices together doing everything from, I remember Guns N' Roses and Tracy Chapman and all kinds of wonderful stuff. But you are going to be doing some repertoire at this Friday night concert with string quartet, which is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we kind of treat Nation as like, I mean, it feels like a hobby. It's like when we're not busy doing our day job, which is music, we do our hobby, which is music, which a lot of us can relate to.
Right.
But we treat it like a musical sandbox where it's like, what else can we do? Like, what else would be fun and unique and interesting and different and that fulfills us in that way. So we've collaborated with a lot of different people over the years just to see what else is possible. And so our first instrumental collaborations were with a couple instrumentalists, and then Jocelyn's always had the idea that she would love to perform a string quartet. So we've sort of figured that out this year with a larger set of our repertoire that is with string quartet. We premiered some of these pieces at the Western ACDA conference a couple of years ago, but we've added to it since then. It's been a delight to have that repertoire alongside the a cappella stuff.
And sorry, I was just going to add that I wrote a new one for this concert. So we actually have a premiere on that program. It was Tim's birthday earlier this month, and he loves this song called Perfect Ruin by Quabs. And so I finally arranged it for string quartet. It had been on my mind for years.
Oh, that's very cool. Yeah, I can't wait to hear it. So this was always the Nation performance was always part of our idea in dreaming up what we would do, having you here. But one thing that's cool that developed fairly recently is that this is actually being presented in Albuquerque as part of a new arts festival called the Rising High Arts Festival. It just opened yesterday downtown. A wonderful space called Fusion, and there are all week events going on. There's theater, there's music. There is, I think I told you all this, but every night, every day leading up to the evening events, there is a themed happy hour that a local distillery / brewery is putting on. So there's a 2-hour happy hour leading up to your concert. So the audience should be just so receptive to
because they've been drinking for 2 hours.
Because there's a 2-hour happy hour leading.
Let's enjoy with a cocktail.
Yeah, we'll take it.
Yes, yeah. And so that is this Friday, October 18th at 7:00, the Fusion Space at First and Lomas. And tickets for that are actually at risinghigartsfestival.org. So you can come to that. You can hear a whole program of Nation with string quartet. And then again, on the Sunday concert with Quintessence, Jocelyn and Tim will be performing a set as Nation also. So we are so excited. We're so excited to finally be performing your music. The chorus has loved preparing all of this music, and so we can't wait to start work with it on you in the room. That's also fairly daunting, because I found myself in rehearsal with the chorus saying, yeah, I know it says this, but I think it would be better if we do this. And people will say, the composers are actually going to be in the room, right? I'm like, yeah. So,
yeah, but you know what? That's a really important part of the process. Like, we can only do so much on our own, and
right?
We turn it over and collaborate with another person to bring it to life. So that's all part of it.
Yeah, well, it will be fun to have you in rehearsal and also involved in the performance is so cool. As Jocelyn said, she'll be doing some playing, 2 pieces for 4-hand piano with Amy, and then a Nation set in the middle of it. So we are excited, and thank you for spending some time chatting about it today, Jocelyn and Tim.
Yeah, thanks for the
really
invite.
Excited to come in.
Okay. And the concert is October 20th, Sunday, at St. John's United Methodist Church, 3:00, also available by live stream. Thanks, friends.
Thank you, Matt.
See you soon.